know you.
Doing good.
So you look a little different today than normal.
Yes. We know each other from the pool.
Yes, so now you're not in your swimsuit. So who do you have here?
This is my husband. He's Jason Wallace, the pastor of Christ Presbyterian Church here in Magna.
Awesome. So we're going to do a little video about this church and all about it. It has a little bit of history in here and tell a little bit about it. Hi, Pastor Wallace.
Good to have you with us.
Well, I noticed something very interesting here. Could you tell me about this?
Sure. This is a plaque from the Daughters of the Utah Pioneers that tells a little bit about the history here. The original chapel, I've been told, was an adobe chapel built in 1877. One of the Daughters of the Utah Pioneers told me that Brigham Young came out the year he died for the dedication of it. They built the current chapel in 1897, and then later they dismantled the adobe chapel and built what they called the amusement hall. I think this is the current term social hall, but we just call it our fellowship hall.
So I heard you've been doing some work, some fix-ups. And so what was your latest fix-up that you've done?
We just did our roof.
The roof here.
And we did some repairs on the stucco as well.
All right. So can we go in and see what this place is like?
Sure,
I'm curious. I drive here all the time to go to the Magna Museum, and I have never been inside this building, so I'm kind of excited.
This is our fellowship hall.
Yes, it's lovely.
And we tried, originally it had wainscoting, and so we tried to bring that back. And
It is nice, yeah.
tried to capture the feel of 1912, but have it modern. And
So this building goes back to 1912?
yes.
My, it's like a historical site.
Yeah, well, the chapel's even older.
The chapel's even older. Okay. So what do you do? So come here, you two. What do you do here in this? Is this your fellowship hall?
Yes, yes. This is-
Originally, it was called an amusement hall.
right, I understand that. From what I've been told, the Empress was more of a burlesque house originally.
Oh,
And
interesting.
was looked down on by the Mormons, and so they had movies here, and they had dances. They had a spring floor under the floor here,
Oh,
and I think they retrofitted it a bit for a basketball court after they built it. Basketball wasn't such a big thing in 1912, but it became much bigger
Yeah.
soon after.
oh. Well, so what do you have? Do you sometimes have lunch, dinners here? And
Yes, we have dinners, and sometimes we'll have parties, and there's enough room that the kids can run around and we can do some various things.
so do you have a little Christmas? Do you have a Christmas program here?
We sometimes have a Christmas party, and we have a sister congregation up in Clearfield that they'll come down and fellowship with us. Often we'll have, like, the Sunday before Christmas, we'll have an evening service, and then we'll have a dinner following, and so it's a nice place to get everyone together.
Oh, well, this is very cozy. Very nice. And a kitchen behind there.
Yep.
Wonderful. Look at this. I like the flooring. It's really nice.
Thank you. We were very blessed. There was actually a fellow here in Magna who did floors, and he looked at the existing floor and said there's no way to really repair it very well. And so he actually helped us find the flooring. My oldest son, who was 13 at the time, installed most of this. And then,
Oh my goodness.
And then the fellow that did hardwood flooring, he came in and sanded it and finished it for us.
Well, it's really nice. It's really nice.
Thank you.
I just can't get over seeing you in a dress. And I've seen people at the store and stuff. I was like, wow, I don't recognize you without your swimsuit on. So where are we headed now?
This is the chapel.
Okay, we're coming into the chapel.
And this was built in 1897.
It was what, did you say?
This was built in 1897.
Okay.
And at some point they added bathrooms to what was then called the amusement hall. And then they joined the two buildings up, and they added classrooms behind the chapel.
Okay.
So what started out as 2 different buildings became a much larger single structure.
And I see you have a piano. So
Yes.
people in your congregation, if they, you have someone that plays the piano, right?
Yes, we have, all 6 of our children have taken lessons, and so the piano, it helps having kids who can play piano. We've had others as well, but it's nice to have a number of backups.
Yeah. So you have a sister congregation that you join together and you do things. So you pastor also another church in another area?
Well,
or you help with it?
Yeah, they're without a pastor right now, so I go up and I preach up there at 9 a.m. and then I come down here for our 11 o'clock service. And some people down in Cedar City reached out to us recently and really wanted services down there. So at least for right now, I preach 9 there, 11 here, and then I go down to Cedar City and preach there at 5:30 and then come back in.
So Sunday's not your day of rest.
Well,
unless you consider preaching rest. You know, that is a good thing, right?
Cruise control and air conditioning is not exactly my view of a hardship, so.
I agree. I agree. Well, it just looks like a really nice place here. How are you, Susan?
Good.
So has it been a good place to raise your kids? So how long have you been a pastor's wife?
23 years. So as long as we've
23
been here.
years.
23 years as pastor's wife. But we've been married for 29.
25.
29.
29. So then you got into the ministry after you'd been married a few years.
Right.
Well, that's interesting. Yeah. So tell us about your congregation here and why people might be looking for a place to go to feel love and acceptance. And tell us a little bit about what your congregation is and what you do and what makes it something that people might want to visit your group here.
Okay. Well, we are not part of the mainline Presbyterian Church. We're sort of conservative remnant of that. We're Bible-believing Presbyterians, and our understanding is that we can, in the scriptures, we see that the gospel is for sinners, and we take comfort that we don't have to wear masks for people. We don't have to pretend to be something we're not. We're sinners, but Christ came to save sinners, and so we like the Protestant reformers, we try to read the Bible, teach the Bible, preach the Bible, sing the Bible, pray the Bible, and make the Word of God visible in the sacraments. So we're basically old school Presbyterians, and we welcome anyone the Lord sends. You know, we don't seek to change the Word to suit ourselves. We think it's wonderful that God's given His Word to change us. And so we're theologically conservative, but not having to play games. It seems that it makes people comfortable that they're not playing, you know, they're not hiding who they are. That as great a sinner as they are, they found a greater Savior in Jesus Christ. And so the Lord's brought a group together, and they love the Lord, they love each other. We have simple traditional worship. We sing hymns and psalms, and I'm preaching through the Gospel of John right now. And a lot of churches have quit meeting, or they're having all kinds of restrictions. We encourage people to use common sense and to respect one another. We never shut down. We've told folks if they want to wear masks, that's fine. If they don't want to wear masks, be respectful of the people around them. And people treated one another with love. We rejoice in that. And so there's been a freedom that 2020 and 2021 have actually been 2 of our best years.
Well, they were your best years?
Yeah.
Whoa, I think that is quite amazing. That's really something. Because people really need, they don't need to be shut out and so fearful. So you're helping your people not to be so fearful.
Yeah, the God of the Bible is in control of everything. Jesus said not a sparrow falls outside of the Father's will. before his ascension, he said, "All authority has been given to me in heaven and earth." And I think that if people have a low view of God, they naturally fear. I know that I live in a sinful world and I may die a horrible death, but so what? Life's short and eternity's long. And I know that nothing can happen outside the goodwill of my Father. You know, the promise is that he's working all things together for the good of those who love him and are called according to his purpose. And so, you know, COVID's real. You know, we don't believe it's some conspiracy theory, but the fear that people have has sent people scurrying everywhere. Yeah, I think it's a sign of a weak theology.
And you don't feel that here with your congregation. They are more hopeful and more peaceful about things and more faith-filled, you feel.
Oh yeah, and you know, we've had some people who've gotten COVID elsewhere, and we've prayed for them, tried to minister to them, we've tried to take meals to them if necessary. No one has caught COVID at a worship service in all this time, and those who have had it have not had a hard time with it. And you know, there have been people elsewhere who've had harder times with it, and I recognize that.
Mm-hmm.
But we hold to the historic faith of the church. We've been through plagues, we've been through wars.
It's true.
And I don't see how the current generation could have handled what people have handled in the past. Having a faith that stood the test of all these kinds of things, I think is a great comfort.
Yeah. Well, I think this sounds really fun. So Susan, come over there and sit by your husband for a minute. I'm going to get a last little video of the two of you together. So how many children do you two have?
6.
6 children. And how old is your youngest?
13.
13. Okay, so we had 5 children. So you're one ahead of us. That's something. Well, it's been nice getting to meet you and seeing this chapel. Let me take another picture. There's a place, there's a pulpit where you would preach, right?
Yes.
Do you have worships or little Bible studies during the week too?
We have a Bible study in Eagle Mountain on Tuesday nights, but our congregation's a bit scattered. We don't have that many right in the immediate area. And so
they're coming from everywhere.
So we don't have a lot right here, right now. We'd love to see more things during the week. But basically, we have morning service here, mm-hmm. and then that's done in Utah County. And then we have our sister church in Clearfield.
Well, thank you so much. This has been lovely. Thank you.